Urban Chaos Riot Response is a first-person shooter that was developed by Rocksteady, published by Eidos Interactive, and released on the PS2 and Xbox in June of 2006. As it was released very late into the generation, it's definitely one of the lesser-known games from the FPS genre, and it did see a lot of average review scores at the time, which probably didn't help either. Taking place in some unnamed area of America, you play as Nick Mason, who is the newest member of the T0 or Zero Tolerance Riot Response Squad. As luck would have it, during Mason's first few days on the job, a huge riot breaks out for some reason, and a gang known as the Burners decides that they're running the show now. The T0 Squad is a new division that is equipped with all of the latest weapons and was created for this very reason. Mason is tasked with stopping the Burner gang by any means necessary, which basically means shooting a lot of people in the face, and that's pretty much it in terms of narrative. There are a few cutscenes sprinkled throughout, and most missions are sandwiched between a fake news channel that's reporting what's going on in the city to give a little more context, but it doesn't have a lot to offer story-wise, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, as Urban Chaos is clearly all about the action. The game is made up of a bunch of linear and brief missions. Most objectives are kill these bad guys, rescue this hostage, or take back control of that building. It's quite an arcade-like experience, as at the end of each mission, the game will throw up your stats on accuracy, time, and how many gang members you killed. There are also a number of side objectives to complete in each mission, such as getting a certain number of headshots or arresting criminals instead of killing them. You'll also acquire medals based on your performance, and the more you collect, the more you'll be rewarded with upgrades to your weapons and items. This is clearly a game that is built to be replayed multiple times and perfected, offering fast and fun missions and plenty of items to collect and unlock. These short and straightforward missions work in its favour. I personally didn't get bored of playing this one and was always happy to load up the next mission. The controls will be familiar to anyone who has played an FPS from this period. You don't really aim down sights, which can feel a bit inaccurate at first, and although you will adjust to the aiming eventually, even after a while, it still feels like it's not as snappy as it should be for a shooter released in 2006. This is actually how I felt about most aspects of the gameplay. The aiming, the mission structure, the feel of the weapons, it's all good, but you can't help but wish it was all a bit more precise and a bit more exciting. But please do not take my criticism to mean that this isn't a fun game, because it certainly is. The collection of weapons you build across the campaign is varied, and all of them are pretty darn useful, as most feature a secondary fire option. Want to pick people off carefully with a short burst from an assault rifle? This game has you covered. Want to unload both barrels from your shotgun at the same time? This game has you covered. And if you want to tase someone until they're unconscious, once again, this game has you covered. Urban Chaos definitely lives up to his name, as there are plenty of explosions and destruction, and the environments are covered in red barrels, which are always a positive addition to any game. On top of this, you come equipped with a riot shield that allows you to push through some of the hectic fire, but is mainly used to aid you in hostage situations as you wait for an enemy to reload so you can get in a quick headshot. Thrown in with all of this are the occasional moments of slow motion that are random but entertaining as you shoot someone off a ledge or blow somebody up. The feeling of it's good but could be better does not end when it comes to the game's presentation either. Don't get me wrong, it looks quite good for a game of its generation, but not exactly impressive. While the environments are of course all urban, they are not repetitive, and there is a good mixture of indoor and outdoor environments, which aren't exactly bursting with character, but there is enough detail to prevent them from looking bland. NPCs are well designed, but look better the further away you stand. Get a little too close and you'll notice the rough spots, but as this game moves at such a fast pace, it's not something that you'll notice often. One flaw that did stand out to me on a fairly regular basis was the frame rate that felt like it was dropping ever so slightly in almost every firefight I got into, which is another aspect of Urban Chaos that you'll wish was better. In terms of sound, I have no real complaints. The background music is sort of generic but cheesy at the same time, which is a bonus if I'm honest, and the weapons do sound like they're doing some real damage, which always improves a shooter. Voiceover is fine, but certainly borders on subpar. It's not so much the dialogue that drags it down, but more the delivery at times that stands out as poor.
Listen to me. Stay with me, Steve. Come on. No. Damn it. I worked with him for 3 years. He was one of the best. These bastards murdered him.
When looking back on my time with Urban Chaos, it actually reminded me a lot of Black, another organs-blazing, fast-paced first-person shooter that was released on the same consoles at about the same time. While I do think the best way to sum up Urban Chaos is to say that it's like Black but slightly worse by every measure, I also think it's useful to say that although it is a flawed game, it's still a fun one. Yes, I could think of about 10 different ways in which this game could be improved, but I also didn't want to stop playing it either. And if you're looking to add an FPS from this generation to your collection, you could definitely do a lot worse.